Why are we drawn to villains who suffer so beautifully? Welcome to the Dark Fiction Café podcast. My name is Autumn, and this is where we delve into dark fiction for pleasure and profit, and always with passion. Today, in part 1 of the Dark Fiction Café podcast, we're talking about the beautiful monster, the tragic antagonist in dark fiction, which happens to be one of my favorite archetypal villains. It's so easy for me to fall in love with this kind of villain, and specifically like the biggest one here for me is Phantom of the Opera. I have always loved Phantom of the Opera and every kind of iteration of Beauty and the Beast that you can think of. Some of the things that I love about this trope is that the antagonist is so emotionally complex. He has emotional damage. He's suffered, or she's suffered. It's often a very tragic suffering that makes us ache for them. It's a suffering that they can't get over. I think to some extent, we've all felt these feelings. We've all been in a place where something has happened and it has affected us so deeply that we struggle to get over it. And it's in the struggle that we really, really relate to this archetype of villain. At least it's in the struggle for me. That's what I find where I relate, because I have been in a lot of situations where I've been bullied or something really bad and unfortunate has happened, and it's really difficult to get over some of that, and I think we all feel that, and that is a deep point of relation. The scars on this antagonist, they can be visible, like in Phantom of the Opera, but they're also very not visible. They're emotional and mental. The idea that maybe you can fix him or maybe you can fix her. I think that idea drives us as well. Or that my love will be the love that heals him. This type of antagonist they started out innocent. They started out a good person, and through no fault of their own, they were betrayed or exploited or abandoned, and their monstrousness comes by reaction. It's not a choice. In a way, it is a choice because they refuse to heal, and this is what continues to make them monstrous. On the other hand, it's very easy to see why they're not healing and how difficult it is to heal to some kind of betrayal that has definitely hurt you. When we see this type of archetype, at least when I do, it makes me ache inside. It makes me really feel for them. And I question if they're the bad one. They often seem like they're the good one. Another reason this trope works is the attraction to broken but beautiful. So many of us have this innate desire to fix the wounded animal to help them heal. I think in part it's hardwired into us to try to fix things, try to heal people. You can watch whenever there's a car accident, how people come rushing to help. There's an intrinsic desire. It's the social bonds that are hardwired into humans that make us reach out to characters like this, that maybe we can help them. And we understand that suffering isn't the same as cruelty. They're acting out from a place of suffering, not from a place of being intentionally cruel to others. And of course, in fiction, as opposed to real life, this kind of person is dangerous, and that danger becomes desirable. There's a mixing of power and vulnerability that creates a definite erotic tension. Focusing again on Phantom of the Opera, seeing how broken he is from all of the abuse he suffered as a child and as an adult, it just makes me ache for him. Any kind of monster in this position, it makes me ache for him. It's also very common that the thing that the monster wants, in this case, it's Christine, is gentle. The monster wants something so opposite of them. They want that, quote, true, unquote, beauty. They want that soft experience. They want that love. Only they want it so much that it leads to obsession. There's a quiet dignity about the Phantom of the Opera. He's very skilled and very powerful and controlling with what he does with the theater. He is absolutely successful with what he does. He makes good musicals. He chooses the right actors and actresses, and things are successful because of his knowledge. This, in turn, combined with the suffering, the wound that he suffered, makes his evil understandable. It's not excusable, although as a hardcore Phantom fan, yeah, I can excuse him killing for her or killing for me. Look the other way. In fiction, not in real life. Through the whole thing, you see how much pain he's in, and you watch him ache, and it really resonates with the times that I also have suffered in the past. And I think it's this attraction, and in fiction, dark fiction, we have this freedom to work within our mind, to practice our healing skills on these victims in our mind, and, well, antagonists, but victims in their own way. And we work with healing them. And I think it helps us become a better person in real life. The impact that words have on people is undeniable. And that's a whole other podcast we can talk about, and why dark fiction is healthy and good. However, this is the part where I talk about something that we like, so we'll focus on that. Another thing with the beautiful monster, their pain is never explained away. It's always left there for us to ache with them, to feel compassion for them, and maybe even understand why they're doing what they're doing, even if it's not acceptable. So yeah, I'm just going to take a few quiet moments to reflect on how much I love Phantom of the Opera, and I invite you to share your favorite villain trope, whether it's on social media, or you can go to one of my socials and share there, or come to Dark Fiction Café on School. It's a free community and we chat in there, so come and share there. And now we'll head to part 2. Okay, so here in part 2, the business tip of the week to help you get your dark creations in front of more people is to present them in an audio format as well as a visual format. One of the things that I do with my podcasts, and I will probably make a mini course about this and put it in our school community, one of the things I do with my podcasts is I do run the transcripts, but I also turn the transcript into a written form. I have a lot of friends who are neurodivergent. Every one of them has an absolute different way they like to consume content. When I first heard one of them talking, I was really surprised because I've always heard when you're promoting yourself, videos is the way to go. Make a video, short videos, reels, TikToks. These things are the way to go. However, some of my neurodivergent friends don't have the capability to pay attention to the video or the audio. They prefer things in a written way, and they're very outspoken about it. And that's one thing I saw on social media, on, Facebook and Instagram, how my real life friends were saying, don't give me a video of this stuff. I just want to read it. Put it in writing, make it simple for me. And that is a gold piece of advice. And I'm sure you can find things like this on your social media, your socials, your personal socials. People explaining how they want to consume things. And this information is gold. And doing this is helpful also because even people who are not neurodivergent process information in different ways. I'm more of an audio learner, auditory learner. I prefer to hear things rather than read things. However, if it's like a long course, I would rather read so I can move a little faster than whoever is speaking. Anything short, though, I want to hear it. And many people process better through sound, better through listening. Some people need written text to focus better. If you're creating your advertising and your promotional materials in only one way, whether it's all visual or all auditory, you're losing access to a large portion of the population who wants to consume your content in a different way. You have a better way to reach out to more people by doing sound and audio. And I'm not just talking about a TikTok or a reel. I'm talking about separating it. So you have like written ads only with no sound, maybe sound ads with not a lot of writing. These are both good ways to go. And of course, blending the two, video also works. Having that separate option that is not the only option is definitely an advantage to you. Written content is definitely more skimmable. Somebody can like fly through it looking for the information that they need. Podcasts can be skimmable if you put them, you increase the speed, assuming you offer, or the player that you're using offers the listener the opportunity to increase the speed times 1.5 or 1.2, even 2 times as much. Also, when you offer your promotional materials in both audio and visual content, you're showing that you are accommodating and you create a safe space for somebody who doesn't process information in the traditional way. I'm going to set my notes aside and I'm going to tell you, I'm just going to walk you through my process really quick. I do want to point out, first of all, that if you're not comfortable making videos with your face, that's okay. You don't have to. You can make faceless video content. I do expect to be doing some showing my face in videos soon, but a lot of the content I've done is faceless. When we'll take my podcast, for example. After I've completed this podcast, I run it through Audacity and I clean it up and I do my editing. And then I get ready to put it on to YouTube. So I put it into, believe it or not, Clipchamp. from the Microsoft Suite. I do use that. And as I put it in there, I let it do the conversion to a transcript. It just takes some processing time, so it just sits there and transcribes it into text. Then I take that SRT file, I download it, I take it, I put it into ChatGPT, and I ask ChatGPT to clean it up, get the timestamps out. I do use the SRT transcript when I post the podcast. I tack that in there so that people who want to go by the timestamps can. So then ChatGPT will clean up and remove all of the timestamps and leave just the things that I said, which is an awesome use for ChatGPT to get things from one format to another. It is amazing and I love it. So then I take what ChatGPT has done and I go over it again to make sure it didn't get a little creative when I wasn't looking. And I make sure it's essentially word for word what I said. Also, I will edit a little bit for written material since I'll be posting it on Substack. So instead of saying listen, I'll put read as I transfer it into the visual format. And then once I've got that, I post it on Substack. And I tell people that it is from the podcast. Here's the written version. If you don't want to listen, here's the thing for people to read. Also doing this gives me a lot of content to add to my social media. It's a numbers game. You have to put out a lot of content, and making new content every day can be a little overwhelming if you're just creating content. When you take one piece of content like this podcast and you use the written version, you've got 2 days of content. You can release the podcast one day. Next day, you can release the written form. And the written form is the cleaned up form. It's not just the exact transcript with timestamps. I do recommend that you do both of those because certain people have a love for their time-stamped transcripts, and it's very important for them to be able to have those timestamps. I know it's important to people, so I make sure I get it out there. And yeah, you should too. I mean, if you've got the transcript, let's just get it out there and let people have it. Then you have the cleaned up written one. So you've got a couple of days of content there. You share that on social media. You're reaching a wider audience. You're getting more traffic on your content because the people who passed over the podcast or the people who passed over your written material will go for the audio material, but they'll still see the content. They'll see it and they'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that podcast, but I didn't really want to listen. Great, I can skim. It'll make them happy that you are providing your content in a way that they can consume. The reverse is absolutely true. If you put something out in written format, you can get a little microphone off of Amazon and do a quick recording. Even if your phone is good quality, you can do recordings on your phone as well. You just need a kind of quiet environment. And like I said, I think that's going to be December's class in the paid version of the school, Dark Fiction Café. So join me there if you need more support. I'll put it together probably this week and next week, and then it'll be there for you. So that is my tip. Release your content in audio and visual forms so that you could access more people and get your promotional materials out in front of more people. Thank you for listening this week. Once again, I invite you to join me on the Dark Fiction Café in school. It's absolutely free to join. If you would like more support and access to the mini course I'm going to make about advertising in audio and written, you'll need to join the paid tier, and that is only $7 a month for life. So feel free to join us there. My name is Autumn. Thank you so much for listening to the Dark Fiction Café podcast, where we do dark fiction for pleasure and profit and always for passion. I'll see you next week. Take care.